That's fucking hilarious. Like,
I like the black one more.
Okay, sorry.
Wait. I didn't twist my guard enough.
If I make the same strike over and over and over again, eventually I'm gonna make it one at a time.
I'll briefly run through the ones from last time, and then we'll go to the next one. So the first one is the one you already know. It's the where you strike in and then you catch the hand. Also a strike or a thrust, and you at the moment where you catch the blade. Right? The next one is grabbing the arm and the elbow. It tends to be more for like a higher strike. So when you strike up and then extend the arms out, so that you can strike. But you don't want to grab at the top. That pushes me down, and I can come down this way. What you want to do is you want to push into the elbow underneath, like this, right? And then now I can't come down. That frees you. So do that again. Right. Right.
No arm.
Okay.
You fucking put my blade down.
All right. The grabbing the blade. You've done it sometimes, but strike the blade, and then when they lock, that's when you have the moment where you can reach up and grab blade lower. Well, particularly when it's lower. So strike this way, and then as soon as it stops, you can reach up, catch, and then manipulate, and then cut back. Right. And there's a couple of ways to do that, but the important thing is no matter which way you do it, like, try it different way. So like when I strike from this side, right, right. And as long as you're grabbing with your fingers on the side, like you did, and on the stop, you're going to be fine. And you're in flexibility to move. So the next one will be grabbing the torso. Alright. So, here from this word. Alright. So, I'll demonstrate, and then, so you strike in, and then push. Step around, like at the shoulder level here. You can kind of grab the weapon on the hand, and then you've got the position. Right.
Is that the one that clicks it? Or
Yeah.
something similar like
Yeah, yeah. So,
come in.
right, and then you're gonna triangle step behind, release the bottom hand and reach around. Right. Yeah, because it's all right. Right. Now, because I'm shouldering trying to go over, it's harder. But you can actually do it lower. So the whole thing is that you put your knee or your foot. Right. All right. Now, in my case, instead of trying to go over my shoulders because I'm taller, I try and go under my arm. Right. And then, if you don't catch the sword, catch the handle here. That's still got me locked in. So that should be easier for you to reach. And then you're gonna take your knee and shove it in my the back of my knee. Right. And then I can't maintain that. Right. So.
That's so awkward against someone that's like.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You can do it with a lower position.
So, and
right, right, and 100%. Like, if you were doing it at full speed, full power, I'd go down. Like that was knocking me forward. Like I wasn't like pretending anything. Just so
very unstable.
Right, unstable position. You getting that back of that leg. You can even drop both knees in, but if you do that, I'm going to hit the dirt, and I'm probably hitting you with it. So if you let go, you'll be standing up on the ground, but I think you get the idea of how it works. Okay. Next one is stepping on the foot, which is pretty easy. I have a note here, typically not allowed due to low shoe requirements of broken toes. But you get the gist is that you step in, and then someone has their foot forward, that's your opportunity to step forward onto their foot, and then you're pushing into the guard, and then
they're off balance.
right, on the center of their back. And so now you gain the upper control. Right, and then you can always just step off where they can. So if they try and retreat or even move forward, they might even trip themselves, generally speaking. And then the last one was the sort of the half sword hook. Remember that one? So it was you hook actually you're gonna hook on the outside, and then bring it in, and then you lock it sort of into place, and then you can actually that right.
Yeah.
Right. So the thing to remember is the hook itself and the stab isn't that bad. The real danger of this is the retreat. Once you get the sword in there, so once I block, push it over, and then thrust in, this is fine. But if I just try and pull this back, it'll free your sword. Right. So it's better after you get this pushed through, and then you pull the cut. That way, your weapon's been displayed. Okay. Okay, but you're gonna half sword the blade. I think it's awkward because you're coming from this side. If you come from the other side, you'll see that this hand's more on top. Then reaching forward with with the back hand. Right, and then I can't move the sword this way, so you can step this way, and I can't do anything about it. So it'll come from your right. And so it is. Yes, and that's actually when you're speaking super fast, because the way you just pulled that off right there, in a real, that was almost real tiny from my perspective. Then being able to do faster, right. If you do that in a straight fight or whatever, I don't know if I can respond fast enough, kind of that, because as a leverage thing, when you push, no matter how hard I push, as soon as you take the other hand in there for the half sword, my blade's not stopping. Right, so
I'm not sure if you saw that.
I think that one's super effective. Given
Fuck you, and I
okay.
Fuck you, whatever.
Alright, so those are the ones we did last time.
He was not just.
Alright, so this one has a move, but also has a counter listed as well. So the whole idea of this is an arm lock essentially. So you go in this way, and then you're going to push the sword over, catch the pommel in, and then pull back. Okay? Right. And so you pull them loose this way, and then hopefully rip free. The whole idea is just one. So you strike. I'm taking it from strong side, and then I'm pushing this down. Right. And I'm catching this sword here, but you can actually do it with the blade in place, and then the guard here. There's a chance that the sword turns around this way. Even if it does, the truth is that when you're in actual practice of blocking, as soon as you do this, the sword comes away. But for the sake of doing the slow training, I know the tendencies for that. Okay, there's a counter for this too. I'll go ahead and do it. So you attack, and then pommel in. So you're letting go with that hand. Right, and then just jerking with the hand back as far as you can. And then, right. So my hand gets extended. So do it again. Yeah.
So attack.
Then pommel dive, and then pull. Right. And there is a possibility that you strip it in the case of like I let go with one hand. Now, there is a counter to this specific move, and it's a very easy counter, but you need to know anything about it first. So when you do it again, you just keep going. Right. So right, and then you pull, and then I have my hand free. Now at this point, your hand's typically one-handed, so I can grab this, and then I can go for like a leg shot, but headshot's going to be hard because I'm leveraging the whole sword this way. Or I can just try and bring the sword over to it. Reset it. Right. So I'll try and do it on you, and then you'll reset.
Nice.
All right. Now, the thing with that is, part of the reason I'm showing that is because you typically hold the sword pretty hard. I mean, everybody does. Not I mean, in general sense.
I know, we all died.
So, the first time somebody doubles is not, we've never thought about just letting go. It isn't the first thing that comes to mind. Right. So, but it's pretty straightforward solution once you know how. Although somebody doesn't try it for you a while. Right. All right. So this one is similar. We're gonna do the sword steam. Okay. So it's roughly the same move. I'm attacking from your strong side. I hit this way, and then this one you do grab. It's part of what my foot. You want to grab both swords. You're pushing over this way. You're driving it in, and then as this comes down, you catch. So if you're pinching the sword like this, then you pull this back this way, and you kind of lock it. So it'll either drag you around like that, drag it, and then eventually your hand rips free. You got the back hand on here, and then I can usually in full speed rip that out of my hand. I'm not going to try and full force.
I tried that. I could not do it.
But from experiences, I have quite literally pulled this off on somebody and then thrown the sword across the yard. Because you yank it hard enough to pull, but as soon as you yank, there's no real reason to. Even without thinking, I just kind of let it fly. I've had it work on me a lot. So, same thing, attack from strong, pommel into the arm, but you want to catch the blade, so you're letting go after the strike. Dig this down. Push that blade in there. And then you're hitting the blade and trying to bring them
I know, I'm way out of measure. I'm just trying to
okay?
get
And then you pull.
Or rather, it's out of measure.
And then at some point, I think you did this in a weird way. I think you want to pull it this way. Yeah. Right. And then that so when you get that lock.
So again, it's attack from the strong.
I was like, I've been good for a while. Let's just sneak one.
Grab the blades.
No, I think
Right.
you
And
did
then you,
a quad.
this one forces it sort of out of
I
it.
didn't get hit.
And then you just barely holding that sword. Yeah, that actually would work too. So it is a little bit weird, but you actually just rub it straight on the hand, and then so actually on your guard there. If you just grab the sword and pull, you will be pushing your pommel against my wrist, which breaks my wrist like this. So even if you
Casually.
catch it at that angle and just yank it, as soon as you break that wrist structure like that, it actually pulls out pretty easily because you lose all the power in your forearms to help hold the weapon.
AoE attack!
Okay. That was another one that it's hard to catch the right time to do it, but when you do it, it's basically an instant win on the match. Alright. So there's breaks in this next to your elbow breaks and knee breaks. I don't mean break as in actually breaking them, I mean as in form. I'm just going to go ahead and clarify that, okay?
I can't hold that squat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I know double. You.
Did you see what I did to him?
No.
I put high guard, I just went, that's just,
So he's like moving into it. Yep. He does that pretty slow, so. Yeah. You out or in?
hey, it sniped you.
I ran into you. Okay, there.
Okay. So the elbow break is meant to just tie up the arms so they can't shoot. And so you strike in, but instead of trying to do this, there's a chance to let go.
The first
Triangle
half
step
kick, yeah.
next to the person. So you bring your arm shoulder and down into their arm. So I've got the guard here to go on your sword, and then my forearm can push into your arm. You won't be able to keep your arm up because I broke the joint. So, and then I have the point range. Okay? Whether I do a point or whether I just swing into the leg. Okay? So I'll do it again.
I will say, holding the saber is a lot harder. Because
To be clear, it works on the other side. So if I do, so let's say I try to move this side, and then I want to move down this side, I can still sidestep catch, and then push down on this, and then this to do a sidestep cross. Okay? So you can go either way.
Oh!
Right? Triangle steps to a side, and then you're gonna line your torso up the side, twist your body the other way.
Who's a happy
Go the other
boy?
way. Yeah, you're gonna line that arm to that arm, then you're pushing your elbow into my elbow. Yeah. And so that's actually very hard for me to move.
Promise my buddy, I
And then you
need
can
to go get some more hammer.
push down with this arm,
Yeah, I can't go.
even with the sword. Now, if you let go with your back hand,
Yeah.
this arm is holding my sword on. There's
We'll
nothing
just
I
not
can
into it again. Well, my
You're
first
free
time
to
is
attack however you want.
he got me so easy because he's like, these guys are cool because they're all gold. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then,
they're elite fucking.
then you've got my arm. It's partly awkward because I'm so much taller, the height difference wise. But yeah, so you got it that time. You've got it kind of running under your arm. That'll work, but it's easier when you think of going shoulder to shoulder. So we're out, right? And then you want to rotate. Right, and that really is You're gonna try to the other side. So in this case, you push my weak arm, so I would let go.
Yeah.
And,
So
and come after it.
let me see. So I need
He is
to.
a boy. He needs to be played with like a boy.
Right? Well, so that's actually kind of putting you in
At a
front of me.
disadvantage, yeah.
It's still a disadvantage because you're getting that position out of that body. So when you push it down, if I come from
You know, that's too small for you, boy.
here, and then you're going to elbow into the arm, right? Now the arm's out of place. Now you can let go with the forward hand because the right arm is holding this, and then you can strike kind of with the pommel on the back. Because you're able, I can't lift my arm up, partly because of leverage. Like your elbow is going to be stronger than I am at the wrist.
I haven't
So
sweated
I'm
fucking
even in my height and strength. Like if I push everything I've got,
I was trying to get some
like I just can't drive out of that. So you're not going to have a big guy with that you catch with that be able to outpower you unless they're just absolutely huge. Like you got a 7'6" guy or something like that. But then you're gonna have a hard time getting up high enough to grab that anyway. You know what I mean? So generally speaking, if you're capable of getting in that position, you're capable of holding them down, and you'll be able to lock your arm on that forearm. And if you drive that in more as a body check, so because you're coming straight into that body on that one, you hit and then check into that body, and then you can push towards that arm. And now,
The wrist is still broken.
my wrist is still broken, the sword is down, and then you're free to push the elbow in to hold, and then free up your leg.
Slowly practice to get through the center.
Now I gotta figure out how to do that.
Well, neither of us swung, so.
I know. I was just confused. I'm like, oh, okay.
God.
It works really well.
Yeah.
Literally just bold sword roll.
Yeah, I was just so pleased to see it happen that I didn't want to swing.
Should have swung, see if you could get it.
I mean, hindsight, yeah.
So-
At the time, I was too pleased.
This one's
That's fine. You deserve to not get that right now.
in actual practice is well, we need forearm protectors on the inside of our arms too, and the wrist is a little bit more bruising. The idea is a follow-up strike to allow a cut that will score, but then also incapacitate the arm. So your opponent
I mean, yes.
true edge cut.
Well, doggone it.
Yeah, did I get you on the? We got shit to do. Hey, either.
No, I didn't say it felt like it's below my waist.
So you can see that if you actually do this
Next
training
Saturday though.
and you're not wearing good forearm protectors, you're going to bruise the crack.
Oh no, that was the other week.
It's,
No, like,
you can still
You can drill it with no gear.
And, I mean, if you have like the big forearm, like mine are insufficient. more along the top here. Like, I mean, this is good, but this part here is probably where
Oh,
you're
next
good.
Saturday.
But these purple arm ones,
Because
they're like
I went to go inspect that work.
Next Saturday?
Right.
I'm not gonna be here.
Because it wouldn't be so
see,
saying it was.
No, I got, I'd be at places to be, unfortunately, for my wife's back.
Yeah.
but it's gonna be right above.
That's right over our portion.
But the purple heart ones are here, so you'd actually
Sure
get
thing, man. Nice meeting you guys.
I'll be there.
Hell yeah.
And the,
Or
If I
fucking
even rap.
Jesse or Pierce decides to show up.
so it's a cut, true edge cut, and then as the sword is knocked over, you basically just bring it down on the arm. So it's like a cut and then a cut. So you're basically doing like this.
True edge cut.
Right. And then you're gonna step that way too, so you'll be away from your arm. So I'll do it from the starting position because I was already in the grip position that way, so it makes it stranger. So you cut, and then right, and then I don't get the counterattack because you've been on. So they basically give up, and then slide probably way out.
by 10-foot square.
Like literally all I do on field days is wipe the dust on that.
Right? If you could do it more of a like drive through the hip, it'll be a little more effective.
Where do you want me to put this?
Uh,
So I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get the vote. So I want to make sure you guys have this before I go.
the gray bag.
Sounds good.
And then that was solid. Like if I try to come over and you get my arm that way, there's a chance, a pretty strong chance that I'm gonna done it. That's the last of the elbow break. Then there's knee breaks. This one is similar to the two of them. So the simple one
I
is
meme. Fucking
break here,
and then we got time.
step into this leg here to push over onto it, right? And it's kind of like almost a sweep, but not quite because you're planting the leg. If you sweep and then you try and move, your leg is off the air, so you could actually resist it. But as soon as I drop this leg and plant it, and then push with the leg this way, you've lost the knee, and mine is planted solid. I have a stronger position. You're not going to sweep me in return. Okay.
Bye, Alex.
Bye.
So I got strike, and then so and you're planning on the ground here. So in this case, you can see my sword's off position. And I'm bound. So again, you can push in on me now using your back foot, and then you're very off balance, or I hit the dirt like I'm balancing on my left foot there. If I had almost all my strength on my back left foot, that's why I was still standing. But also we did it in slow time. If you did it in real time, I mean, it might just about amount to a leg sweep the way you did it. Because that's what a leg sweep would be hit this way and then you just kind of sweep from that way and go. But yeah, you do it to me. So that, and then you drive in there. But with breaking the knee, you're using your right back leg, right? If you do the step forward to meet with the
Literally a check.
with your away leg, and then sort of knee into the side, right? That's still breaking my leg, and now you're pressuring on. This isn't a leg sweep because you're not like drawing,
They share a border.
but the pressure. Right. So the leg sweep is that bring the same side leg, kind of hammer back down on the heel, which that's actually the next move anyway, and this one I'm talking about. But the leg sweep is this, and then driving with this. The knee break is this, and then driving with this from the same side. I actually think this is better because it sets you up to grapple and body push.
Bye. It was nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
You guys have a good week.
You too. What? Everybody. Gonna say what? Peace. Oh, where are you gonna post the results at?
So
Also, you're
I haven't run an election like this before, so my plan is to send out an email on Monday and post it on Facebook.
yeah, I was about to get that as well. That's why I kind of started this class. Anyways,
Someone trolled me.
yeah.
Put it upside down.
Yes.
I may have trolled myself when I did laundry.
Probably.
Alright.
But I could totally see someone just something.
Right, and so the other one is a knee break. It's basically the one I did from last week where you did the torso wrap. So when we were doing the torso wrap, it was the strike into the blade, step in, you reach around and then like grab this sword, and then now you're doing this. Now adding to that is just like I said, hitting the knees, and then now basically I have a weight under my arm, right?
Yeah.
So the torso wrap can be used as a throw. Adding in the knee buckle is a separate option, so I'm teaching it twice as two different things. One technique of grabbing the body and losing balance, and one of bending the knees. Also, if you bend the knees, you can just push the person forward because you want to kind of get off of the wrap too, right? So, if you want to actually put me on the ground, that's fine.
So is it like right here?
Right, then you're gonna triangle step, shoulder to shoulder, and then you're gonna
That's groundbreaking.
let go of your left hand and spin your right foot around my back. Right, but you're turning around behind. Right, you're gonna leave the sword when you do that. So
I come
you,
in,
you tack.
I put this foot here, I leave the sword, come this way,
And then you're hitting those grab the hand.
find the handle.
Grab low.
Oh, grab your handle.
Right. So you gotta get on my sword so I can't use it, right? And then you're gonna hit both my knees with my knees. Right, before we do this, I'm gonna give you the two steps. You can execute at the same time. Otherwise, I'm gonna bring you with me, whether you want to go or not. So as soon as you buckle my knees with both of yours, you can take your elbows and shove it into my back, and then push with your thumb as you let go of the sword. That's gonna put me on the ground, okay? And then it'll also release you.
Deflect me from, push me away from falling.
Right. So go ahead. Yeah. And there's really no way to do that slow.
Like a force.
Yeah, there's really no way to
Not fall.
not fall even doing that as training.
Strap.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
In your head.
But
It's like,
but yeah, that's the move. Like that's how you straight up put me on the ground, and then
So it's like, come in here, I drop this hand, come around,
right.
grab, I somehow find your handle behind the hold of your back.
So if we're grabbing the hand around, right?
Yeah.
The swords are locked.
They're locked.
Just push
Just go towards, push it in.
Push the hand as far as you can, strong, and then as long as you sweep big, you're gonna catch it. If you're aiming for it, you're aiming small.
Because I'm here.
Right. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's automatic. As long as you make a big sweep. If you make a small sweep, you'll be feeling for it. But the sword's gonna be there.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of reaching far enough to hit it. And even if you overshoot it, your hand can pull back in and lock on it. All right. And then you just hit the foot. So big arm movement. But yeah, I'll go down every single time if you catch me in that. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry, that sounded wrong. Can I still look in your eyes?
No, it's fine.
I was like, oh, okay.
No, I was actually thinking about, it's very difficult to pull these off live.
So I would say, as I said to like the guys earlier at the beginning of class, 90% of swordsmanship, at least 90%, is that it's fighting at the last inch of the sword, and therefore everything in even when you start into the binding classes, it's less a percentage of what you're going to use, and it's more of the special circumstances. It's intended as a tool in a case of happening. And I think part of the problem is if you're making it your plan, you're trying to make the hardest.
It's hard. It's hard.
Trying to make
Because
them-
you're like, guard.
Right, right. And I think that hurts your swordsmanship in general. I think the first 8 classes are still, from your first to your last, kind of the more important part. So, like you're saying, you're not usually.
I think that you should break the guards one up into like.
I did break it into guards and standing guards slash guards and guards. I tried to. More than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like, a lot of the. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I've looked at for trying to learn like falling something, there's like a lot of guards. Same with fire has a ton of guards, and between like the couple masters we have for Italian swords, they have like basically the same corpus of guards, and some of them have a couple of very names.
Yeah,
There's,
like.
you're looking at like 20 guards, and so the way that
Oh wait, we do 17.
yeah.
But yeah, like bear guard is also cross guard is also side guard.
But it's like
Whether you're doing this barrier or whether you're doing this barrier.
so the way they divide it up is it's like you can have a class talking or you can introduce your basic guards to say of these focus on these. Like not don't even memorize all of them, which you do talk about.
That's kind of what the guard versus guard is with the 4 standing.
But it's like they break it further into when it's like specifically teaching the guards. So like learning the guards first is very crucial because everything is going to start from a guard and a guard. Your cuts are just forceful transitions between guards.
Yeah.
And same thing with the thrust. You're leaning into another guard and transition back. So it's like you'll have a division where you're learning about the classes just focused on the low guards, and then just focused on like the high guards or well, most of you've got these middle guards, all the long lower high. But
Yeah, well, so there's 4 in
yeah,
low high.
you break it down, and then when you're teaching guards, you can go even more specific because you're spending more time on that section of guards, so to speak. You can get in depth on each guard, kind of everything about it, and you can go a lot more into the minutia. So for people, it's like even down to like the way it's teaching, it's like talking about this is specifically how you want to position your body with the guard, and it's going to change a little, like what foot's forward and the way you're canting your torso and stuff is going to change with the different guards because it's like if I'm here, I want to be like this, but if I'm here, I change my body, like my foot's going to be turned at a different angle, my body's going to be more narrow, things like that. And I think for new students that have absolutely no idea of anything, you'll see a lot of very awkward, like body positioning is very awkward. The ability to transition fluidly from guard to guard doesn't exist.
Well, that's what we do for the class, but yeah.
And so it's like, for retention reasons,
it's a lot.
I think breaking it into a couple of different ones, and you add that reinforcement.
The only issue I have is, well, like I have to figure out how to deal with key, bear guard, guard without combining. Because my instinct is to say, well, I would teach the little guards first because that's like where you start with like plow and all that. The problem is you don't understand the value of key unless you understand all the positions around it to see that it's like the key to access all these other things. That's why I was like, well, it needs to be in one class. But I guess I could start with like high guard. I don't know. I'll think about it. Like high guard, full guard, or something in the earlier class. Maybe if I broke it into 2, high guard and low guards in the first class, and shoulder and middle guard in the second class. That way, I can teach the barrier aim transition and that, and then do key last. So I've already taught everything. That might solve that.
But yeah, just an idea. Because I think like 100% the retention for dropping 17 guards and some pictures, and then I've had people that are asking me, they're like, oh yeah, like, what do I do this for? Like, what do I use this? And then like 2 days later, like, I don't even know. It's like, you don't even know how to stand and plow correctly. You don't know what a it's just like,
Get to figure it out. This is the
and
next
they're not going to remember any of it by the next week.
Right. And
Because of the way it's formatted. And they want to rush through the courses, the classes.
yeah.
So if you just add more benchmarks, they will still do them. They will do them. They'll rush to do them. But if you break it up,
That's it. I mean,
the act of rushing will make them reinforce what they did previously. And I think an idea just for how you are teaching the classes, or however much you be teaching them, maybe would be a good idea for retention, right? Because we have more people now that are actually progressing through the basic ones. It's like, okay, so which one did you do last week? I want you to, let's go over it. I want you to show me the techniques from last week before we start the next lesson. Briefly.
Yeah, I've been reviewing for that same kind of thought, but yeah, maybe. So
I think it would help.
So I want to do that at the same time. I don't want to make the meeting longer because we know that's also a problem. But then you're talking about me, right? See, so the suggestion is not the problem. The me is the problem. You know what I mean?
Well, it shouldn't be